Hey everybody, Wednesday morning here. I'm going to take you back to Tuesday afternoon when Buster Posey stood in his office in the clubhouse, met with some beat reporters. Mostly to talk about Bryce Eldridge, but we did talk about the offense as well. And he said he's frustrated. He said they're looking at all options, external, internal. Wednesday morning, we found out what that means. A pretty big roster shakeup. About a quarter of this roster's position players are on the way out after really, really tough back-to-back losses to the Padres. I know Tuesday night Camilo Doval blew the save, but you can really put those two losses on the lineup, which has not scored more than 4 runs in almost 3 weeks. It is the longest streak since 1965 for the Giants doing that. So it's been really rough. They might have the best pitching staff in baseball, and they're completely wasting it. And on Wednesday morning, we saw what that means for this roster. The big move, LaMonte Wade Jr., he was DFA'd. This seemed like it might be coming on Monday potentially. They ended up keeping him. I think what changed here is the other part of that move. They were able to add Dominic Smith, who opted out of his deal in AAA with the Yankees. He had some other options, I'm sure. I mean, there are a few teams out there that need help at first base, that need help in their lineup. But the Giants were able to give him a real opportunity here and say, you can be the first baseman right now. There's a lot of at-bats right now at the big league level. So Dominic Smith, a veteran, he's played for a lot of teams. He was in AAA, had 8 home runs. When he opted out last year was with the Red Sox, and the Reds hit 6 homers last year. He was a little bit below league average just overall as a hitter. So this isn't, some earth-shaking move most likely. They're going to hope to catch lightning in a bottle, but I think when you've seen what's happened at first base, anything close to league average right now would be a huge improvement, and they just need someone else who can be a threat in this lineup. So that is the big deal here, bringing in Dom Smith, the left-handed hitter who basically takes over for that Wade spot. I think you'll still see some other guys mixed in at times, but for now it looks like Dom Smith against right-handed pitching, especially, which they're going to see a lot of coming up here. He's going to get a real opportunity here. The other parts of that, Sam Huff, DFA'd. A little bit of a surprise. He struggled at the plate. Defensively has not totally stood out, but hasn't really been bad either, um, at least from the eye test. He has been Robbie Ray's personal catcher, and Robbie Ray is headed for the All-Star game, most likely. So a little bit of a surprise there, but Andrew Kisner will take that spot, a veteran. And then Christian Koss, he was optioned to AAA, just a little bit more balance on this roster. Daniel Johnson, another veteran, was added from the AAA roster. That part of this move is very kind of Farhan-esque. If you want to go back to that, Johnson was in Mexico earlier this year. This whole thing, actually, Dom Smith was in AAA, Johnson was in Mexico. Kisner was let go earlier this year as well, and just signed with the Giants a couple weeks ago. So three newcomers. This is very reminiscent of what we've seen the last few years, and it all happens at once. And it happens at a time where I think Buster Posey and Zach Manassian were looking around and said, we need to do something. And they don't have prospects who are ready. They moved Bryce Eldridge to AAA. He will play a game there tonight, but he's not ready yet, and they don't want to rush him. So right now, a bit of a stopgap. And I think an understanding that if they can just get to 4 runs a game, if they get to five, that'd be great. If they can get to 4 runs a game, 3 runs most nights, they'll be in pretty good shape and right there in that wild card race until they can maybe add a little more juice to this lineup at the trade deadline. That was one thing Buster mentioned to us yesterday as well. He said it's been interesting. You make these calls and you get a realization that nobody's really ready to do anything in early June or in late May here. So they're gonna have to wait until closer to July 31st to make more impact moves. But right now, a pretty big shakeup to try to add some offense at a time when they need it. I did want to briefly just touch on Wade. I think it ended poorly for him here, but he will go down as one of Farhan's greatest moves. It was very typical of him. He makes a minor move, a guy you don't know much about, and he comes in here and ends up being a really, really good player for a stretch of time here. I think 2021, people need to remember just kind of how special that was. Like a Linsanity run, pretty much, from LaMonte Wade Jr. Did it for a whole season. And, you go back to that year, that's when he became late night Lamont. He had 6 game-tying or go-ahead hits in the ninth inning in 2021, the most by an MLB player in 40 years. It was incredible. He seemed to do it every single time. And he will go down as one of my great what ifs in franchise history because if you go back and you can go Google this, YouTube it, find the clip of him swinging against Max Scherzer, and he was right there. He was right there, right on that pitch. He had a good idea of what to do in that at bat. Very nearly hit a game-winning homer at the very least. I think he thought he was going to tie that game. It was just a little bit ahead of that pitch, and it's a long, long foul ball down the right field line. Ends up not bringing the runner in. We know how that one ended with Wilmer Flores, but just a real what if in franchise history. What if he had kept that foul? I mean, he could be Travis Ishikawa That whole season might be different. That whole season would be different for the Giants. They move on. They face the Braves. I know they felt good about that Braves matchup. All of that is in my book coming up, and I did talk to Wade about that the next spring, and he said he couldn't sleep for 2 weeks after that because he recognized the pitch, he went at it, and just got a little bit too excited, a little bit too jumpy, and pulled a foul. And he had a chance for real franchise-altering heroics there, but just couldn't quite get to that pitch in the right way. But I think overall, you look back at his career here, 2021 was incredible. What he was able to do. Had some real nice moments the next couple years, and just I think his body failed him at points the last couple seasons, and then this season just struggled really from the start. And I know he felt good coming into camp and felt like his legs were under him, made some swing changes. It didn't work, and it's just, him and Patrick Bailey have been kind of at the bottom, and Bailey provides the Gold Glove defense, but at first base, you need a lot more than that. So here comes the big change from the Giants, the first real shakeup of the Buster Posey era. We'll see if it works. They need something. They need something to get this team going offensively.